The Golden State Warriors have taken a 3-0 series lead over the Denver Nuggets, and what this group of guys are doing on the court is something that has the rest of the NBA absolutely terrified, as the Warriors are officially the team to beat once again in the 2022 NBA playoffs. We saw more glimpses of the Death Lineup 3.0 in this one, and although it didn't dominate as hard in Game 3 as it did in the first two of this series, as the bar was set extraordinarily high, but it still proved to be the secret sauce to what could wind up being what takes this team to the promised land once again this postseason, en route to another potential Warriors dynasty. It all starts with the emergence of Jordan Poole, a man who is quickly cementing himself as a part of the Splash family with Steph and Clay, where they have been joking around calling themselves the Splash Triplets, and he's very quickly rising up to be a future superstar in this league. And this dominance goes all the way down the lineup, from Clay to Wiggins to Draymond being arguably the most impactful player in this series, to Curry being the greatest sixth man of all time, and so on down to the bottom of this bench. No matter who the one taking it is, with the growing confidence they have in each other and their ability to the Warriors have unlocked their true potential in the playoffs, and it's resulted in nothing less than perfection, as they've been able to handle their business against the future 2022 MVP in Nikola Jokic. From top to bottom, simply just watching this team play, they are very quickly becoming my pick to make it out of the West, especially considering the other injuries in the conference, as it has been confirmed that Booker is set to miss the next 2 to 3 weeks. The Suns are still going to beat the Pelicans in round 1, it's just now going to take a little longer than expected, and although the Suns will get Booker back hopefully sometime in the second round, I think that by the time these two teams are projected to meet up in the Western Conference Finals against each other, the Warriors are going to have all the momentum in the world the way they've been playing recently, and that Booker injury will definitely slow the Suns down a bit. Like I've already mentioned, Jordan Poole is emerging into a player that is already looking like he can one day fill in for Steph as the superstar in the Warriors, being that he's just 22 years old and has already showcased this much confidence in just his first ever playoff appearance. The shots that he's taking and making have been ridiculous in the first 3 games, as he's been able to average 28.7 points per game, shooting 66.7% from the field and 59% from 3 in the first 3 games of this series, where he currently ranks 4th amongst all players in scoring in the playoffs with 86 points, only behind Jokic, Jalen Brunson, who is having himself an insane playoff so far, leading the Mavs, and Donovan Mitchell. It's only been 3 games, but it's not like this came out of nowhere for Poole, as he was most certainly snubbed of being among the finalists for most improved player this season. But even after his breakout year, when the stage became brightest, Poole has taken his game to a whole new level and is displaying a quality that is embedded in only the greatest in the NBA, and that's performing in the playoffs. It's a very small sample size, but the way he fits into this Warrior system with all of the pieces around him, I'm very confident these performances will continue to some degree, but it's honestly to the point where, on top of the fact that he's unlocked an absolutely deadly scoring ability, he's impacting every other player on the team, making all of their games easier with his emergence, and dare I say, he's unlocked this Golden State team to become something that was once seen when a man named Kevin Durant was on this roster. His scoring ability mixed onto this team opens up the floor to everyone else, making it almost impossible to guard all 3 of Poole, Steph, and Clay, especially with their ability to move without the ball. And you have a guy like Draymond who excels at setting rock-hard screens at the top of the key and is a point center who flat out is best offensively, setting teammates up in the best possible situations to succeed. Defenses are forced to have to worry about 3 absolutely lethal shooters like they once did when this team had Kevin Durant, where all 3 guys have the ability to light it up from 3 and drop 30 points on your head at any given time. As this forces teams to have to guard these guys one-on-one, this does multiple things that make this team so dynamic, as each of Clay, Poole, and Steph have the ability to take their guys on either to the rim, to shoot a midi, or even to have the ability to create space for themselves and take a 3, and this leaves Wiggins the opportunity to bully his way into the paint as it's opened up for him, and same same with Draymond, or to make matters worse, like I've already mentioned, is this team's ability to either set on-ball or off-ball screens on each other to have a multitude of offensive options because of it. You can either hit Green, who'd roll to the basket, hit the open guy that was generated off the screen who can shoot the three, where the Warriors just have so many different ways they can beat you with the best off-ball players in the NBA at getting open. It's to the point that makes this team almost impossible to beat in a 7-game series, where I'm predicting the only team that can beat them in the West is going to be the Suns, with their ability to play defense as a team. But even then, it's probably going to have to come down to the Warriors beating themselves and implode on themselves to the point where they get cold offensively, because the offensive talent in this 5-man lineup alone is absolutely incredible. These 5 guys on the floor together average just 7.8 minutes a game this playoffs, and they have shown to be the difference makers so far in the first 3 games, posting a near playoff leading plus-minus of any 5-man group with an average of plus 7.3, and they have a league leading offensive rating of 142.6 of any 5-man group playing more than 20 minutes total together, where the next closest group isn't even close with an offensive rating of 127.2 in Reggie Bullock, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Jalen Brunson. Under the same criteria of any 5-man lineup playing over 20 minutes total together, this Warriors death lineup ranked 7th among other lineups with a defensive rating of 105.8, which amounts to a net rating of 36.8, which is just absurd. On top of the offense the team has been able to generate with this lineup, it's been their defense that has also stepped up to allow them to go on these runs and be the difference makers in games, and more specifically, Draymond Green has played amazing in this series on defense against Jokic. Last night, Jokic was able to look like his usual self with 38, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists, but even with those efforts in the dying seconds of the game, when it mattered the most, Draymond came up big once again with the game-winning steal to seal the game on Nikola Jokic. All series long, the Warriors have tried their best to attack Jokic whenever possible, both on offense and defense, to make him uncomfortable, and this resulted in Jokic having the worst plus-minus in the entire NBA through the first 2 games, where even with last night's strong performance, he still has the 4th worst plus-minus among any player in the playoffs, with a minus 42, just 4 points shy of the league worst Pascal Siakam. Even though the talent surrounding Jokic is nowhere near the talent of stars on the Warriors, being able to affect the potential MVP to that extent thus far can tell you so much about what this team can do on defense in terms of defensive game plans, as this just shows you that even though they don't have a true defensive center, Draymond can more than make up for his size on that end, as he's still proving to be one of, if not the best defender in the NBA. This is going to pay its dividends once the Warriors go up against another team with a dominant big like Embiid, Giannis, or even Ayton in terms of his size, as I've gained a ton of confidence in this group from that regards. Even beyond this death lineup that the Warriors have created, they have a group of guys off the bench that are a mix of vets and young guys, albeit Moses Moody and Kuminga have hardly played in the playoffs. Their time will most definitely come in the future, as they've proven all season long that they are a huge part of this team's future. All in all, the Warriors are finally healthy and starting to build up the momentum in order for them to go on another championship run, as this team could very well be playing the best basketball of their season right now, considering this is one of the few times this core of stars have all been healthy together this year. They are so entertaining to watch with how unpredictable they are on offense, with all of the firepower they possess, but it's very well looking like this might be the team that runs away with the championship trophy in June. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have a great night.